Okay, ons is hierso in Natal vandag. Nou, Rob plant al 5 jaar met 'n badger, nee. Hy het nou al 'n paar iterations van hom deurgehardloop en kyk hierso. Die man plant in die gras, wat gaan aan hierso? Nee. Hy gaan my meer vertel hoe werk die boerdery besigheid hierso ensovoorts en hoe het die badger 'n verskil in sy lewe gemaak. Kom ons luister. Rob, hoe gaan dit?
No, very well, thank you, Andre. I'm going to speak English. My wife is not here. She comes from the Cape. She's the Afrikaans side of me, but I don't manage to speak the other language. I speak Zulu and English.
Jy het vroeër gesê as jy probeer Afrikaans praat, dan kom maar Zulu uit.
Ja, daar kom Zulu uit.
Vertel my gou vinnig, julle is hier in die Natal area en letterlik hier tussen Lesotho en die see. Waarmee boer julle en wat is jou grootste uitdagings geweest? Hoekom het jy hierdie badger rigting gegaan?
Okay, Andre, so we're milking cows here. We're a dairy area. As you can see next door, my neighbour's got avos. We're 1,000 meters above sea level. We're in a mist belt, so we get a lot of cloud. Last December we had 3 days that we could spray in. So the conditions to plant mealies are quite tough, but we use the mealies for silage. About 20% of my cow's diet comes from silage, 40% comes from grass, and then we buy the rest in. So the silage component, although it's a small portion of my cow's diet, is a very important portion of my cow's diet because it allows me to carry more cows on my farm. If I go back to, call it 10 years ago to now, I would say that we've doubled our dry matter yields per hectare because all of this is all cut for silage.
Yeah.
So we've doubled our dry matter yield. And what I've worked out since I've had this planter, we used to spray everything dead and wait for it to all fall down. And then we used to come and plant. And what we've worked out, we can graze our cows longer on the cover crop. So we're getting extra yield out of our cows as well in the system. So it's not just a dry matter silage yield that we're getting. We're also getting a yield from our milking cows because our milking cows will graze on this platform as well. The last 3 or 4 years with this badger, we've actually worked out that it's able to plant into something that's green. So this green is a ryegrass, an oats, and a stooling rye. That gets planted after the silage.
So jy het goed met gevaarlike wortels ook nog hierso.
Ja,
Dis nie net asof hulle nou net so bietjie is nie.
No. We put there's 25 kgs of oats seed, of black oats, and 20 kgs of ryegrass that goes down. So you can see the density of this here. Let's see if we can find one that we can pull out here. Okay. Right, there it is. There's a piece of mealie from last season, and there's all the roots. Can you see that?
Yep. En ek meen jou probleem is veral jy kan as jy anders dinge in hom insit, daai saadkarretjie kom oor hom, daai kouters druk hom net so doep, hulle hop net oor hom en dan lê jou saad op die grond.
Yeah, no, that's a true story. It needs to penetrate into the soil.
And since you've had that plant, you was just saying by how much were you able to, hoeveel beeste kon jy meer aanhou?
So what we've been able to do, because we can graze this cover crop in inverted commas for longer in the season, we've actually been able to push our cow numbers by about 500 cows. So we're milking around about 1,800 cows at the moment, and we were at about 1,200. So for 6 months of the year, this is growing a mealie, and for the other 6 months of the year, it's growing grass.
So jy double crop nou lekker hierso.
So literally, the cows came out here yesterday. I'm planting today. The day that it gets cut for silage is the day that the planter will come back in again and plant my cover crop.
Nou kom verduidelik my gou hoekom wat is die regte kom ons sê die geheim rondom hierdie ding wat dit nou actually reg kry.
So we've got lots of short small fields. Turning at the headland is made much easier with the hitch arrangement that we've got here. On the 3-point, you can turn much sharper. We don't have to leave massive headlands because, as you know, a headland just grows all sorts of rubbish on the side, and we need to plant right up to the edge of the field. So we pretty much are able to do one pass on the headland and cover the headland.
En
We
dan
can
jy
turn on-
utilize, jy gebruik al jou grond wat jy het.
Yeah, yeah. Then these two cutting coulters over here, well, road cleaners, whatever you want to call these things, they've all got fancy names. This thing works. It pulls all this material out the way.
Ja. Maar hy skeer hom af as ek dit
Yeah,
reg heb,
it actually rips it out the way. And the reason why we bought this planter is because this piece over here actually holds. If you've ever tried to cut a piece of paper with a scissor, you don't really cut it unless you hold the piece of paper.
Ja.
So it actually holds the grass down and rips it out the way. A lot of the other road cleaners are designed for things that are dead and not tied to the earth, whereas this thing actually pulls it out the way.
Presies. En hy gaan in die grond in.
Yeah, well, yeah, it goes into the ground. Then following behind you, we pretty much no-till. So we're going in quite deep. We're putting in 320 kgs of fert, quite deep into the profile. And that shank there.
You're not now telling not to give fertilizer. Am I correct?
I'm not no-tilling not to give fertilizer. I put fertilizer down, and I'm proud to say that.
NPK papier.
Get the basics right, and everything else follows.
Stem.
Get the basics right, and everything else follows. You can try all the silver bullets, but unless you're feeding what you're putting down there, and putting the seed, if you look at the fertilizer cost in the bigger system, it's actually not worth trying to skimp and save on that.
100%.
So my agronomist was quite wary of me putting that much down in the row, because it's quite a lot of that is N and K, because we're cutting silage off, and we haven't had any burn off problems or anything like that, because that fertilizer is down and to the side of the seed.
En dan maar net vinnig produk hierdie counter wat hy hierso het.
That turbo till.
Ja.
That turbo till, we had a straight coulter on there before, and it made a beautiful cut. But this turbo till, it does make a bit more tilth in that area there, and it cuts a slightly wider strip for this tine to run in.
Werk net 'n bietjie beter.
Yeah, it tends to not blow out. Last year when we had the straight on there, we were getting to 6.5 k's an hour, and we were finding that we were throwing soil. If the conditions weren't right, we were throwing too much soil out on the tine here. This year, I see that we've been planting at 8 k's an hour.
Jy sien.
Yeah.
En dan net vinnig hierdie toetrap wielietjies dan wat hy hier, dis maar net om hom toe te maak dat die saadkarretjie dan kan verbykom, nê.
Yeah. Yeah. So it gives a bit more stability back to the seed bed.
Yeah.
So you get when the kariki comes along, you get seed soil contact.
And then you basically get your own little seed bed in there, nice and firm, and you follow with the row unit.
Yes. Yeah. And if you go and dig in that sluit there, you'll find that the seed is almost placed on I wouldn't say on a shelf, but it's placed to the side of where that shank has gone down.
So it's still in
It's still in the sweet spot.
Where you want it.
Yes.
And then, I mean, we've got the precision planting row units on here with the stepper motors and so forth, and then the Badger closing wheels mechanism. So my question is, if you look at the emergence and the singulation and the stand that you're getting, what has been your experience, even though you're planting in the grass?
So the spacing here, as I said, it was less than ideal planting conditions. Probably the worst planting conditions that I've planted in the last 5 or 6 years from a moisture point of view. So I mean, we planted, this block was planted at 70,000, and we've counted 69,000 up in the block. That unit there, I've changed, in 5 years I've changed the seals on the inside, the gasket, there's one gasket inside there, and this season I had one motor that jammed, and it had got a little bit of dust inside the mechanism. We took it out and blew it, and it was off it went again. Compared to other planters that's got chains and all sorts of other hydraulics and all sorts of things like that, I was very hesitant when I started with this, with electric, but I trust the electric now.
Anyone thinking about buying a Badger?
Anybody thinking about buying a Badger?
What would you tell them?
I would tell them that you're buying into an ecosystem, you're buying into a company that actually understands agriculture, that understands that every farm is different and every condition is different. But what I've seen and my experience has been that there will be a plan made, and the fact that I've said before that Ruan phones and says, so how's our crop doing? He's not going to phone everybody and say, how's our crop doing? He's probably sold enough, Badger's sold more than enough planters now that he probably doesn't know everybody by name, but I'm pretty sure that he still knows most of his clients by name. And I think he still takes that interest in the fact that he's actually growing mealies across the whole country. That it's something to be proud of. And when I look at videos on Farmspace or on YouTube with planters running, I feel proud to be part of a community of farmers that have trusted a company and watched it grow.
Kyk net, daar's altyd 'n ou met 'n plan en dan's daar 'n oplossing. So in hierdie geval, net die feit dat hy hierdie haver besigheid en die stoelrog en al die dinge, jy kan langer eet met die beeste, maak dat hy 500 beeste ekstra kan aanhou. Skielik maak hy weer geld. So, as jy beeste het, kort jy blykbaar ook so ene. Liedjie bo of die onder. Sien. Engelsman verstaan daarom daai. Liedjie bo of die onder, kom jy met Badger in kontak. Dis die van Farmspace af, tot volgende keer. Groete.